So we want to learn what is electric potential, but for that we first need to understand what is electric potential energy. So first we will discuss what is electric potential energy and then move on to what is electric potential. Now, to understand electric potential energy, we'll take a look at gravitational potential energy. We'll look at a situation, that means we are looking at a situation in mechanics, because the same rules that work in this case will also work in the case of an electric field. See, for instance, if you simply release a ball at a height, it comes down to a lower level, the ball will fall down to a lower level. Now, to raise it to a height, you need to do work. But once it is placed at a higher level, it simply comes down. This is something like, say you connect a wire to a battery. You have a resistance connected to a battery. Now current will flow in this direction. So current simply flows from the higher potential to the lower potential, but to transfer the charges from the negative potential to the higher potential, you need to do some work. Let's take a look at a situation like this. We have a positive plate over here and a negative, the green plate is a negative plate, and we release a positive charge, say Q, over here. You can see that the charge will accelerate, it will move in this direction towards the negative plate. It will move on its own, but to move it from this end to this end, you need to do work. See, this is a high potential and this is a low potential region. Now, this is just like the case for gravitational forces. The higher level can be taken as a high potential region and the lower level to which the ball falls can be taken as a low potential region. Now in this case the ball falls on its own from the high potential to the low potential, but to move it from the lower potential to the higher potential you need to do work. See, we've been using the term potential over here, though we haven't defined it. But see, it's useful to understand that if you know the potential, if you know which point is at a high potential and which is at a low potential, you know the direction in which a positive charge will move. Now, what we'll be doing is we'll be applying the concepts of work, potential energy, conservation of energy that we've learned earlier in mechanics. And we'll be comparing this situation in electrostatics with that in mechanics. Now, there are a few important points that we need to first take a look at, and some of these are the concept of what is work done, what are conservative forces, the relation between work done and potential energy, and the work energy theorem. So these are a few concepts which you've learnt earlier in mechanics. So we need to revise these concepts because the same concepts are applied both in case of mechanics and in case of electrostatics. Now the first point is work done. See, work done is given by integral F dot dl, where F is the force applied and dl is a small element of the path, and this is given by integral F dl cos phi, where phi is the angle between F and dl along each point at its path, and the work done in moving from A to B, so the limits would be from A to B. This is how work done is defined. Next is conservative forces. Now conservative force is one for which the work done doesn't depend on the path taken. Say you lift it from this point over here to this point again. Now whether you take it by a straight path, or you take it by a path like this, or you take it by absolutely any other path, as long as the starting point and the final point are the same, the work done is the same in each case. This means that the work done depends only on the initial and the final position. It is independent of the path taken. For a conservative force, the work done is independent of the path taken. See, an example of a non-conservative force will be friction. Say you move a particle, this is an inclined plane and this is a rough inclined plane, and you move an object from here to the highest point here, and then you bring it back over here. It goes from here to here and then back. Now, the work done by the gravitational force in this case will be 0 because the net displacement is 0. But the work done by the frictional force is not equal to 0 because energy is spent both while bringing this up and while bringing it down. Now, since work done due to friction over the closed path is not 0, so friction is a non-conservative force. Similarly, over here in the electric field, if you consider this particle being moved, say from here to here, and the work done in each case, whatever may be the path taken, in each case the work done is only going to depend on the initial and the final position. So we can say that electric forces are also conservative forces. So an electric force is a conservative force, just like gravitational forces. Next is, for a conservative force, the work done is equal to negative of the change in potential energy. This means the potential energy at 2 minus the potential energy at 1, and you have a negative sign. See, this might sound a little confusing, but this is fairly logical. When work done is positive, then delta U is negative or the potential energy decreases. You can see that for the case when the ball falls from 2 to 1. In this case, work done by the gravitational force is positive since the force and the displacement are in the same direction. And you also know that the potential energy of the ball decreases since it's coming down to a lower height. However, if you lift an object through a certain height, then the work done by the gravitational force will be negative because the gravitational force is acting in this direction, but the displacement is in this direction. So the work done by the gravitational force is negative in this case, but the potential energy of the object increases. So similarly, in case of an electric force, since the electric force is a conservative force, the work done will be equal to negative of the change in potential energy, which means when the object moves from 1 to 2, the work done by the electric force is negative and the potential energy will increase. But when the object moves from 2 to 1, the work done by the electric force is positive and the potential energy of the charge will decrease. See, in case of mechanics, it's easier to understand that the potential energy at 1 is less than the potential energy at 2 because 2 is at a greater height than 1. However, it is a little difficult to understand that to compare the potential energy at 2 and at 1. So you can think that when the particle moves from 2 to 1, then it is being accelerated, so its kinetic energy will increase. Now, if the kinetic energy increases, the potential energy has to decrease. This means when the work done is positive, then the potential energy of the body will decrease, which is in accordance with this equation. At the same time, when the particle moves from, this is when the particle moves from 2 to 1. When the particle moves from 1 to 2, the work done by the electric force is negative. The kinetic energy of the particle will decrease and the potential energy will increase. So if you noticed over here, we have used the work energy theorem, which is work done is equal to change in kinetic energy when the total work done is only due to conservative forces. Then the work done becomes equal to the change in kinetic energy, and this further becomes equal to the negative of the change in potential energy. Now we are going to use all that we've learned to find the electric potential energy for two charges, Q and Q naught. Say we have a stationary point charge Q and another charge Q naught is moved from A to B along a radial line. So say this point is A and this point is B, somewhere along the line. The work done to move the charge from A to B is given by integral F dot dl from A to B. Now see, we need to use integration over here because at each point of its path the force is going to be different, since the force between the two charges is given by Coulomb's law. Now if you find this, let's just find the integration. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is a constant. Q and Q naught are also constants. So integral 1 by r square, and we'll use the variable of integration as dr, and now in this case cos phi is equal to 1, since the angle between the force and the displacement is 0. So this becomes cos 0, and this is 1 by r square integrated from A to B. Now the result for this integration is going to be minus 1 over r, and substituting the limits we get 1 by Ra minus 1 by Rb. Now this work done will be path independent, which means it will not depend on whether you take the particle from here to here along this radial line or you move along any other arbitrary path. That is because the electric force is a conservative force. So in each case the work done is equal to the same. Now earlier we had said that in case of conservative forces, work done is equal to negative of the potential energy, which is negative UB final position minus initial position. Over here, and we can just write this as UA minus UB. So now we can define the potential energy at RA as this and this would be the same. So what we are saying is UA is equal to Q naught over 4 pi epsilon naught times 1 over RA, and UB would be Q naught by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 over RB. Now the potential energy is positive since Q and Q naught both have the same signs. If they had opposite signs, the potential energy would have been negative. So now we've defined the electric potential energy as U is equal to Q naught 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught times 1 over R for any position R of the particle.